Think about it. What were conservatives sharing on Meta that was getting flagged so much? Are they spreading false information?
I mean, I wouldn't even want to like hang out with this person. Like, because it would be all day. I would be getting in arguments with this girl all day long. Like, my God, there you go again. Like, are you serious? like, what are you even talking about, yo?
Zuckerberg's plan to recommit to free speech on Facebook and Instagram, supposedly. Part of that plan involves getting rid of the hyper-partisan fact checkers and instituting a community note system like what Elon put in place on X. Not surprisingly, the left is unhappy with this development.
What's up, y'all? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Not sure if I even got a chance to say that to you guys yet. I'm so happy to be back. I am still going to be off the camera for a little bit. I was actually not doing too well before. I wasn't doing too well over the past few days, and that's why you haven't seen any videos, but I'm glad to be back. Let's get right into it. We don't need a whole dissertation about my life, right? Matt Walsh is calling out Joy Reid and other leftists for their unhinged behavior. Joy Reid, she's not just unhinged, though. She's always just extra vile with it, right? So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that, all right? Let's go ahead and get into it.
Unhappy. And here's just one example of many. This is our good friend Joy Reid with her reaction.
Why would conservatives think fact-checking is biased against them? I mean, what are you sharing if you keep getting fact-checked for false information? Think about it. What were conservatives sharing on Meta that was getting flagged so much? Are they spreading false information?
I mean, I wouldn't even want to like hang out with this person. Like, because it would be all day. I would be getting in arguments with this girl all day long. Like, my God, there you go again. Like, are you serious? like, what are you even talking about, yo? For real? Because she's not saying anything that serves any purpose but to cause division. What are you talking about? How did Mark Zuckerberg's decision go to conservatives? I don't understand. I really don't get it. So she's not making sense in anything that she's saying. But we'll listen to her and her unhinged rant a little longer. By the way, guys, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe button and the notification bell. We are pedal to the metal again, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everybody who watches.
And why were they so eager? And why are Republicans in general so eager to end the idea of fact-checking? What are they trying to share? What is the motivation for not wanting it to be fact-checked?
Now, what I love about this logic is that, of course, Joy Reid would totally reject it if we applied it to any other situation. So, for example, when we hear from people like Joy Reid that say black people get pulled over and arrested more often than white people, using her logic, I could say, hey, what were you doing that made the cops pull you over? Think about it. Why are you getting pulled over and arrested all the time? If you don't want to be pulled over and arrested, stop committing crimes. Think about it.
I'm going to kind of have to stop. I'm sorry, guys. On this channel, if anybody's new here, we don't just, we don't cheerlead our side. We don't do that here. We keep it completely real. Inconvenient truth is the motto. Look, I like a lot of what Matt Walsh does. I don't really think that this is necessarily the example to go with. I mean, I think that what we would say is that if it were leftists saying that they didn't want fact checkers because of, the crime rates and stuff, and they would be mad if we ask, well, what is it that you're hiding, since you just want to be able to say things and not get fact checked or something like that, But he kind of and I'm not, by the way, for the person who says, oh, you're just doing that because you're black. No, I know that we have a serious black crime issue. Crime is crime, but there's a lot of black people who commit crime. I mean, go back to my catalog. That's not, please. That's elementary, basic level knowledge, right? I just, I think that we could have went somewhere else. I just think he could have just did it just a little bit better, but let's keep watching.
They're law enforcement. You're running afoul of law enforcement. You must be breaking the law. It's the exact same logic, but in that case, Joy would totally reject it. Of course, the difference is that in that case, the argument actually works. It works because the data shows that, in fact, police officers, by and large, are not unfairly targeting black people. That's just false, some made-up false narrative. For the most part, in the vast majority of cases, if you're getting arrested, it's because you're committing a crime. And so a really, really, really good way that it's not 100% foolproof, but if you just don't commit any crimes, there's a really high chance that you'll just never be arrested. It could happen, but probably it won't. On the other hand, with fact checkers, it's not as simple as, well, just make sure everything you're saying is factual, and you'll never get fact checked. You'll never get, doesn't work that way. If you got flagged by a fact checker, it did not necessarily mean, very often did not mean, that you posted something false. Because the whole fact-checking regime was, from the start, invented to suppress conservative thought. Now, law enforcement as a concept was not invented to persecute black people, despite what Joy Reid may say.
Okay, this is a reach of an argument, yo. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I guess I probably should just, we're watching this together. Matt Walsh could have killed this in so many different ways. Don't get me wrong. Like, I like that he thinks that Joy Reid is not that intelligent, right? Because she's not. Or if she, all right, let me just say this, all right? Let me say this. I don't say just the cool thing just to say the cool thing. She's probably extremely intelligent, but she's a liar. Okay, so she comes across as not intelligent. She's not dumb, right? But she's a propagandist. Therefore, she says a lot of lies that are divisive to sway people in one direction. Coming back to it, I just think that this is unnecessary reaching. Like, you can't prove. Now he's making me argue her point. Don't do this to me, Matt Walsh, because somebody will say, like, okay, the same way you can't prove that there is anything written down to arrest black people for no reason, right? A fact checker is going to say, you can't prove that I fact check just to suppress conservative voices. This is literally the same kind of hanging, but like it flipped. This is not the point that I would be making. I'm trying to let him kind of, I don't know, catch it or something. I don't know what's going on. And then I'm going to tell you what's really going on, because this is kind of throwing me off. I'm shocked right now.
Say, fact checking on social media, this current iteration of what we call now, if we're talking about someone using the term fact check 40 years ago, different deal. But now what we call fact checking and the professional fact checkers on social media and so on, that is an industry intended from the very beginning to enforce ideological conformity. And there's a lot of evidence of that. We all know this. I'm not saying anything you don't know, but here's really all the evidence we need, right? You could just take one example that kind of proves the point. Did any fact checker on Facebook or on any other platform ever once flag a post claiming that there are more than two genders? Was that claim ever once flagged as non-factual? Was the claim that, trans women are women, was that ever debunked by the fact checkers? No, of course not. In fact, it went the other way. Statements of incontrovertible, undeniable, biological, and scientific fact were flagged as false and harmful by the fact checkers, even though they are absolutely 100% correct. And so that's all the proof you need. I mean, it's a good starting point. Anytime someone calls them, if you want to know whether a fact checker, a self-appointed fact checker, is qualified for the job, you can really start with that. You can say, well, are quote unquote trans women? Just ask them that question. 99.9, probably 100% of all self-appointed fact checkers would all say, well, yes. Means you're not qualified for the job.
He's right about that, but the thing is, like, oh my God, like, all right, we already know the facts on that, okay, guys? Like, we already know, okay? Like, believe me, my whole channel was dedicated at one point to, like, dismantling, on a medical level, this whole trans women or women garbage, right? But I don't have subjective arguments, okay? I wouldn't have argued this way. I would not have said this because the fact checker can prove I was not trying to suppress your voice, and I can find sources that cite that trans women are women because technically they can, right? So my argument is this. And so what Facebook is doing is that they're getting rid of the fact checkers and they're allowing political commentary to come back on the platform, right? I stopped using Facebook a while ago. I noticed I was shadow banned. I was like, I'm out of here. And I highly doubt that I'll use it again. I want nothing to do with it. But they're saying they want to remove that and do community notes where people can go and rate the post. I don't want any of that. See, that's the thing about me. And this is the argument. I don't want any of that. Who's the arbiter of truth? Here's an example. Remember when they were saying the lollipop, and you know what the lollipop is, does not give coagulations or clots or whatever. And then later on, they were like, oh, well, maybe, yeah, it could possibly. There's a point in time where somebody will tell you something's not true, and then later on you find out that it's true. Truth is always being revealed to us at every second of the day. Who is the arbiter of truth? I want none of it. I don't want any regulations. I want people to see what they see. And if they decide that they want to believe it or do their research, they can go ahead and do it. It wasn't all of this. Like, it just wasn't all of this before. So to me, it's just going from one regulation to another because somebody will say, oh, community notes, that's fine. But what y'all don't know about community notes was this is what they do on Twitter. And this is exactly what's going on right now. There's a big fight on Twitter because Elon Musk has removed a lot of accounts on Twitter who were getting mad at his stance on H1B1. Right? Like, what's going on? I thought it was free speech. So I'll hold up as an American. Let me be careful with this topic, but I don't want a bunch of people coming here taking American jobs. I don't care if it is legal. But people like set up big groups and they say, oh, we don't like this person. Let's go community note them. And they'll community note you so much they can get your reach to be suppressed. Okay? It's still another regulation with subjectivity. Who is the arbiter of truth? Let people be their own arbiters of truth. But back to this miserable woman. Either way, me and Matt Walsh agree on this. Everything is more racism with her. She's divisive. She's miserable. They'll keep giving her a couple of little dollars, little shekels to do her little lives, right? And then, that's all she's good for. All of that, and that's all she's good for. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.